Did you know?
Eh? Who calls? Let every noise be still. Peace yet again. Who is it in the press that calls on me? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music cry Caesar. Speak. Caesar is turned to hear. Beware the Ides of March.
Beware the Ides of March. This famous line comes from William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, Act 1, Scene 2. The soothsayer is predicting the infamous murder of Julius Caesar at the hands of the Senate and his friends. According to the writers, Caesar sustained 23 stab wounds. 23 times he was stabbed by conspirators. But supposedly only one wound was mortal, the second which pierced his chest. Famously, Caesar's last words addressed Brutus. Et tu, Brute? And you, Brutus? He exclaimed. Though according to some, he actually said in Greek, and you, my child? Though Caesar should not have been surprised. As great a general as he was, he had adopted some very dangerous practices and attitudes. His habit of wearing a laurel wreath, possibly to hide his increasing baldness, looked suspiciously like a crown. And the special chair he had commissioned for himself as leader of the Senate was dangerously close to being a throne. If there was one thing that affronted the Roman psyche, it was kings. They had thrown out the last king of Rome many hundreds of years prior, and Brutus's family had played a key role in forming the Republic. Of course Brutus was involved in the conspiracy. But there's one thing that used to bother me as a child. What on earth is an Ide? I'd like to know, I thought. It all has to do with the Roman calendar. We've discussed the Roman names of the months in a previous video, but each month originally was based on the lunar cycle. Each month, in a predictable cycle, the amount of sunlight reaching the moon shifts, beginning with a new moon, through to the full moon, and eventually to the waning crescent, and the cycle repeats. It was this which gave the month its length. The first day of the month, the new moon, was called the Kalends. This is actually where we get the word calendar from, a procession of first days. The next key date of the month was the nones. This is actually linked with the Latin word novem, number 9, because this was 9 days until the next key date. Usually the nones fell on the 5th or 7th day of the month. And so it is, 9 days later, we come to the Ides. This was traditionally the night of the full moon, and in March, May, July and October, months with 31 days in them, the Ides came on the 15th. For the other months, it was the 13th. And so every month of the Roman calendar hung on these 3 key dates, the Kalends, the nones, and the Ides. And so when the soothsayer cries out in Shakespeare's play, "Beware the Ides of March," he's actually saying, beware the day of the full moon. Of course, this is just a moment in a play, and Caesar did continue on his way with tragic consequences.
I'm sorry, sir, but for the good of Rome, you must die.
But you're my personal bodyguard and champion gladiator. I don't want to die. I may not be a very good live emperor, but I'd be a worse one dead. Treachery! Infamy! Infamy! They've all got it in for me.
Now, classic comedy to one side. This is the serious reason why Caesar's adopted son Augustus never took the title king or emperor. It was a mantle that meant death. And while Augustus undoubtedly wielded power, he did so merely as the first citizen of the Republic. So there you have it, the Ides of March. Whatever you get up to today, it's probably best not to tempt fate and declare yourself a king.